The global defense landscape has just been jolted by a development that many analysts are already calling a game-changer. According to multiple defense and intelligence sources, Iran has finalized a major deal with China to acquire advanced fighter aircraft, effectively sidelining Russia and its Su-35 jets in favor of Chinese technology. The specific aircraft at the center of this deal is China's Chengdu J-10C, a multi-role fighter jet that has been steadily gaining international recognition. This decision by Tehran marks a clear pivot in its defense procurement strategy, one that carries significant implications for the balance of power in the Middle East and beyond. The Pentagon, according to insiders, is closely monitoring the situation and has expressed deep concern about what this means for U.S. security interests in the region. For years, Iran had been eyeing Russia's Su-35 fighter jets as part of its military modernization efforts. The Su-35, widely considered a formidable fourth-generation plus fighter, was seen as a natural upgrade for the Iranian Air Force, which has long operated a fleet of aging US-made F-14 Tomcats, F-4 Phantoms, and Soviet-era MiG-29s. However, multiple reports now suggest that Iran has shifted gears dramatically. Instead of moving forward with the Russian Su-35, Tehran has opted for China's J-10C, a move that signals not just a change in procurement, but perhaps a broader geopolitical recalibration. The J-10C is no ordinary jet. Often referred to as the backbone of China's modern air force, it features an advanced active electronically scanned array radar, cutting-edge avionics, and compatibility with China's latest air-to-air missiles, including the PL-15 long-range missile. The aircraft has proven its capability in various exercises and is often compared to Western platforms like the US F-16 and even aspects of the F-35 when deployed in numbers. For Iran, which has struggled under decades of international sanctions, gaining access to this level of technology is a significant leap forward. Sources close to the Iranian defense establishment indicate that China offered a more favorable deal than Russia, not just in terms of cost, but also in terms of technology transfer and maintenance support. Beijing has reportedly agreed to provide extensive training and logistical support, ensuring that Iran's pilots and ground crews can integrate the J-10C into their operations quickly. This stands in stark contrast to Russia, which, while eager to sell the Su-35, has been bogged down by its ongoing war in Ukraine, leaving its defense industry stretched thin and delivery timelines uncertain. The Pentagon's reaction to this deal has been sharp. Officials in Washington are said to be alarmed at the prospect of Iran significantly upgrading its air force with Chinese hardware. A senior U.S. defense official, speaking anonymously, described the development as a worrying sign of deepening military ties between Tehran and Beijing. The official added that this could complicate U.S. and allied operations in the Gulf, where freedom of navigation and deterrence against Iran's actions remain critical priorities. Strategic analysts argue that Iran's pivot from Russia to China may also reflect a growing recognition of Beijing's rising influence as a global arms supplier. Russia, once the go-to partner for countries seeking alternatives to Western defense equipment, is now struggling under sanctions, resource constraints, and battlefield demands in Ukraine. China, on the other hand, has invested heavily in its defense industry and is positioning itself as a reliable partner for nations like Iran that face Western embargoes. For Tehran, this deal is not just about acquiring new jets, it's about sending a powerful message. By embracing China's J-10s, Iran is signaling its willingness to deepen ties with Beijing at a time when the U.S. and its allies are increasingly viewing China as their primary strategic rival. This could mark the beginning of a new axis of cooperation, with China supplying the technology and Iran providing the geopolitical leverage in a volatile region. Regional reactions are expected to be intense. Israel, which has long viewed Iran's military buildup as an existential threat, is likely to lobby Washington for additional support and perhaps even accelerate its own defense acquisitions. The Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia and the UAE, may also reassess their strategies, knowing that Iran's air force could soon field modern jets capable of challenging their own advanced fleets. Experts also note that this development will not go unnoticed in Moscow. For Russia, losing out on the Iranian fighter jet deal is a blow to both its prestige and its defense industry. The Su-35 had been one of Russia's flagship exports, and Tehran's decision to walk away in favor of Chinese jets raises questions about Moscow's ability to maintain its dominance in the arms market. Russia may attempt to downplay the significance of this loss, but analysts say the symbolism is clear: China is increasingly outcompeting Russia in areas it once dominated. From a military standpoint, Iran's acquisition of the J-10C could significantly enhance its ability to project power across the Gulf and beyond. The aircraft's advanced radar systems, coupled with long-range missiles, would give Iran a new edge in air-to-air combat scenarios. Combined with its missile and drone capabilities, Tehran could field a more integrated and formidable deterrent against its adversaries. For the Pentagon, the challenge will be to adapt to this shifting landscape. U.S. military planners are likely to factor the J-10C into their calculations, including war games and contingency plans for the region. Already, American officials have been warning about the consequences of growing military cooperation between U.S. adversaries. This latest development seems to validate those concerns. Geopolitically, the Iran-China deal underscores the deepening divisions in the global order. As Washington seeks to rally allies in Europe and Asia to counter both Russia and China, countries like Iran are finding opportunities to strengthen ties with these powers, thereby complicating U.S. strategies. Analysts suggest that the more Washington pressures Tehran, the more Iran may look eastward for support, not only militarily, but economically and diplomatically as well. Ultimately, this deal represents more than just a procurement decision. It reflects the changing realities of international politics in the 21st century. China is stepping into roles once occupied by Russia, and Iran is seizing the opportunity to modernize its military despite sanctions and isolation. For the U.S., the Pentagon's panic is not merely about the jets themselves, but about what they symbolize, a world in which America's adversaries are increasingly finding common cause. As the first deliveries of the Chinese J-10s to Iran draw closer, the world will be watching closely. Will this tilt the balance of power in the Middle East? Will it draw Washington and Beijing into greater confrontation over Tehran's future? One thing is certain, the skies over the Gulf are about to become far more contested, and the implications could be felt for years to come.